make sure. So I'm just pulling up that Hordes beat for you too, just so I have it all queued up. It'll be more fluid when we're rolling then, you know.
Right.
Horde 90 instrumental.
Yes. Yo, this for anybody fucking thinking you somebody. Play with Honch. I load up the Uzis and pump shotties. I laugh when I think of the gangsters that's around me. I came a long way from push-ups in the county. Slept in the den with wolves, that was nothing. Then punch niggas right in their mouth, that's for frontin'. Plug name stamped on the bird and cartels. Weight shack punched in your face with a barbell. Barbarian bars. Put the beam on you fraud. Your life a flash. The next thing you seen was the Lord. 400 grams stuck on the stove in a blizzard. 4 felonies on parole. About to risk it. Box niggas like 2 wings, fries, and a biscuit. Low key running this shit. You must have missed it. I don't play around with the bread or give extensions. Hands in the dirt. I got it out the trenches. Pussy niggas when I approach, I call them whispers. Act crazy, Hawk come out, shit'll get vicious. Weed so loud, police trying to frisk us. Try to run, you'll get shot in your meniscus. Whoa, paranormal activity. Atom bomb, NEMC in my vicinity. DOCs have me in the facility. When you on the rise, they'll question your credibility. I don't give a fuck if anybody was feeling me. I do what I want like SMD. Mix the coke like a recipe. Few goons with mob ties is fucking standing next to me. I did 23, 1 in the box, and rec pens with a bunkie that'll stab your ass with a hairpin. My rock niggas will clap you with extendies. You'll catch a 4 for 4 like it's Wendy's. Pistol out, I'll give him a shake. Just give up the cake, nigga. I'm real, only villains relate. Family members get found in a lake. My young boy got the 5 on his waist. No time to waste. Stack chips to survive the case. The whole pound was laced with hashish. Crashed the streets. None of y'all fuckers passing me. Key Kilo Entertainment, man. El Honch, man, we here.
Damn,
Let's go, man. 607, man.
I don't normally start out the show like that, but damn, I guess I didn't really have a choice. That shit was hot, man. Welcome. First off, I want to make sure I give a proper introduction to this gentleman I'm sitting with today. Fresh out of Elmira, coming all the way to Olean to do another interview with me. I got El Honcho. Welcome, El Honcho.
Hey, yo, man, thank you for having me on the show, man. And again, man, it's 607 on Elmira, New York. We in the building, man, and we just, solidifying our spot in Western New York hip-hop. And that's where we taking it right now for the 2023. So that's just where we at right now with things. Also, we got Savage Rum. Also affiliated with Low Key Kilo Entertainment, and we got a lot of big things coming to the streets and to the world this year. So just getting prepared for a good year.
Good to hear, man. Well, honestly, I tell you, you represent Western New York pretty well when you come through spitting some bars like that. Not hard to see what you've been influenced by in your life, and honestly, I want to salute you right there, man. That was some heavy bars. Glad you brought that to the show. Like I said, we don't normally intro like that, but
I appreciate that, man. That's love, man.
Yeah, that was off rip. I was just keying up some beats for, later down the line if we decided to maybe go that route, and homie over here just crushed it. So word, man, I appreciate the dope intro like that. That really made my day. So first off, again, I want to welcome you to Olean, and I'm glad you made the trip down here today. We'll talk about how we connected a little bit later in the interview and the people that connected us as well.
Right.
But first off, I want to know what your impression on Olean was coming to the town.
Well, it's similar in a lot of ways. A lot of the stores, a lot of the ways it looks, it's similar to Elmira. It gave me the upstate feel, so it wasn't nothing that I wasn't really too much used to. But again, as I'm making my trek through Western New York, man, it's good to see the different places, man, and get in tune with what's going on outside of Elmira. Olean is also in Western New York, so it's just good to be able to see other things that's going on in other communities to kind of strengthen what's going on overall. So,
right. So just talk into that mic a little bit more. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and you don't have to be uncomfortable. You move it closer to you, if you'd like. Yeah, just bring the mic closer. Yep, it'll come. Yep, right there. Yeah, I had her perfect for you to do that freestyle and talk if you're right about there. So,
all right, yeah.
But that looks good. But again, so Elmira, huh? That's basically, that's on the 90. You got that
Yeah,
whole,
yeah,
you
yeah.
got
So you got the 90,
Buffalo, Rochester,
right,
Syracuse, Elmira, right? That's
right,
that's basically the way it rolls.
pretty much. Somewhere right in the middle. Somewhere in the middle.
Right, right, right. So we got bars off the I-90 coming through.
That's a fact.
Pleasure to have you as a guest.
You already know.
Um, so El Honcho, basically, how how did you how did you get into your music career, and who are you as an artist? As far as how would you define yourself? And honestly, the bars you just spit told me a lot about you. And again, I love what I heard, and basically, I just want to hear what you have to say about that and how you feel you are as an artist in this industry.
Well, I appreciate, you saying that where you think my lyrics was at. I definitely appreciate that. And I just feel like is my El Honcho is just, a product of the streets and things that unfortunately I had to go through, but it kind of held me in a place where to grow from things that may be obstacles that don't always mean that is to define you, or things that you may go through your life define you. So that's kind of the pain and the wittyisms in my music comes from a lot of things that I went through in my life. So when you go through things, it kind of builds you up as a person and makes you stronger. So that's kind of how my lyrics came to be. I always loved hip hop, and growing up, many influences in hip hop. I would say, shoot, we could take it back to early Run DMC or things like that. Just seeing how the culture and just always being attracted to the culture of hip hop in general from being young, and seeing people like Houdini or Heavy D, and these people were people who I looked up as I grew in hip hop. And then when it came around my time, then it switched to like Wu Tang in the '90s and the Jay-Z. So these were the icons of hip hop that I was raised under. So, I grew to love the art. So I'm seeing what's around me, even though Elmira might not be, New York City or this, that, and the third, but there's still things that going out there as well. So hearing this music and then seeing things translate through those music, through those lyrics in my town, or similar things happening, it's like, wow. So that's how I grew for the love of hip hop.
Word, word. That's what's up, man. So some pretty heavy influences there, I'd say. Uh Dating back pretty far, that's a lot of different eras of hip hop as well. Which again, that's I guess how any art form is. It just progresses over time and it shapes with the culture of society and the people that are making and creating the art. But again, I can see those influences in the way you even deliver your bars and some of even the lyrics and the way the lyrics flow together, the rhyme scheme. So again, I think what I'm trying to say here is it appears you have some wisdom in the hip hop game, in the hip hop as far as music goes, and as far as lyricists in the past go,
Absolutely.
um, and that appreciation, I guess, for seeing that many generations.
Right. And yeah, it's just the art and the art of hip hop is what I'm drawn to, the lyrics and things like that, always through the years kind of built me as to who I wanted to be as an artist. I always used to hear these different witty ways that artists say things, and I was always attracted to that style of hip hop,
Right.
really saying things that make you think about it a couple days later, like, yo, that's what he said back then. So I was always attracted to that element of hip hop, at the same time transitioning into the streets, growing up as a teenager and seeing different things from those ends. And then, I think uh maybe the biggest influence I would say would be like Wu Tang. I guess maybe like, I don't know, that Wu Tang Forever album sticks out in my life,
Hmm.
just in general. I
Yeah.
just believe that album was just at that particular time in my life. I was young. I was growing up. I remember skipping school to get that album. Like that was an important double CD. Like that was everything at that particular time. It had like little cars. It was like superhero cars like within the CD. I remember that whole thing. So that whole element of hip hop kind of was something that I was like, yeah, I want to do that when I get older. When I'm in position, this is the same story that I wanted to tell. So
That's dope. Yeah, word, word. So I feel like we our bodies naturally like associate music with time eras in our life, and that's why music is kind of timeless too, because it carries on for ages. You know, if you can make an impact, like someone like Wu Tang, for example. Um, when you look at yourself as an artist, like what type of people would you want to see that look up to you, and how would you feel like you would empower your fan base? Because I feel like you got powerful things to say, and the way you deliver your bars is it's very unique at the same time. You know what I mean? So, and that's important because again, you got a platform to put a message out on. And I'm not trying to be
Absolutely.
corny neither. You know what
No,
I'm
I
saying?
feel
Like
you.
I'm saying, like what type of audience
Well,
would you like to look up to you?
I would like to say, I had went through some times where, being in the streets, I got locked up, and I got locked up a few times. And through those times, I never gave up on myself. I never gave. I'm not a person who is a quitter. So
Hell
if
yeah.
you're not a person who's never gave up, everybody has obstacles in their life. So I represent to I'm the person that's a fighter. You know what I'm saying? I've been through many things, like I said, in my lifetime. Fortunately, I was incarcerated plenty times. And through those times, I finally got to a place where I just got tired and I needed to make a stand not only for myself, but for my son and for the people that love me most. So I'm grateful that, you know, even at the time of me being locked up, who wants to be locked up? But in those places is where I kind of refined myself as an artist because I had a lot of downtime to really focus on it, and I began to get a little bit more serious about it. So it kind of just hit a switch, inside, and in those positions what I seen is like, being incarcerated, that's a tough crowd. When I was locked up in prisons and stuff like that, I would put these bars up against people from different areas, like
Yeah.
people from Brooklyn or people from Queens or people from the Bronx or people from and they might not necessarily know nothing about Elmira, New York,
Right.
Syracuse or Rochester or Buffalo, wherever you from. And so they might not know too many people. So then I get to rapping in the yard or I get to rapping or whatever when I'm coming past or whatever. Like, yo, son, kind of nice. Like, you don't sound like you got something. So I used to test a lot of my raps in prison. That's kind of really what
Right.
happened. That's like the toughest crowd. That's the
Right.
crowd that's gonna tell you if you good or you bad. If you can impress upon people that's in prison and
Right.
make them say, "Oh, nah, that's all right," then you may have something because that's the toughest crowd of people. Nobody ain't trying to hear nothing, but so that kind of kept me continuing on and wanting to pursue my dreams, and then just carrying that as I transition from coming home. So
So it sounds like incarceration shaped a huge part of your music today. I mean, it had to if that's what kept maybe that kept you going in prison too. I mean, to have that motivation to, you know, not necessarily outdo other people, but to shine. You know what I'm saying? And a fighter doesn't always necessarily want to shine, but a fighter wants to be recognized as a fighter, you know?
absolutely,
And it's not that we would say that, but in our subconscious, we know that we're fighting back with a chip on our shoulder.
right,
And we want people to recognize that. Like,
absolutely,
y'all didn't think I was gonna do shit. Here
right,
I am doing what I need to fucking do.
absolutely.
So I want to talk about your incarceration if you're okay with that. And we can go as far into detail as you want about it or not, you know, but I just wanna I'm curious to hear that because it sounds like it really shaped your artistry today.
Well, yes, I was incarcerated. I caught some cases in Elmira, and basically, when you get locked up in your county jail, kind of doesn't really, well, I would say the Chemung County Jail, that's Elmira. I don't think that county jail prepares you for what you'll see when you finally get upstate. So being in the county never really prepared me for what I would see when I came upstate. Like you hear stories from people
Right.
who never went through it, and then when you go through it, it's like, yo, this is real. So I went through that, and a combination of that and just me just seeing, and still writing my raps and being and seeing these different people from different places and everybody got different cases. And it was just like, I kind of like, wow, look where I'm at, and still I had to, like I said, I have a son. So I don't never want my son to be a person that say, wow, my dad never ended up being nothing or being nobody. So after catching these bids and going to jail, for selling drugs in Elmira and stuff like that. I just got to a place where, I just sat down and said, look, man, this is it, and I kind of used that time. You never know what God is going to do for a person. Like God uses the strangest places to bring out the best in a person.
Agree.
And I would say at the time, like I said, nobody wants to go to prison. Nobody wants to go through that. But I think a lot of those experiences, harsh times, kind of shaped me into the man that I am today. Like I have much better respect for a lot of different things. And I don't see things the way I did when I was younger. So I think that in those positions, it taught me to be more grateful for things and
Right.
to strive to be more and to don't let those times and those decisions that you made define you. So that's kind
Di-
of where I'm stepping.
Diamonds aren't molded under easy conditions.
Right,
Right? Think
right,
about that.
right.
Diamonds come from pressure.
No doubt.
And that's the most precious stone.
Absolutely.
So I feel like if and there's obviously you don't want to go to prison, but again, if you can take a negative environment, flip that around like you have and like you're
Right,
trying to do,
right.
that's that's what matters. Like even that is against statistics. Think
Right.
about it. And
Absolutely.
that's it. Like don't be a statistic. Fuck that shit. You're way better than that.
Right.
Like there's other routes. You know what I mean? And like we're older, you know what I mean? We saw that age, probably right when what year did you catch your bids?
Well,
Your first bid.
2005.
So damn, right there, it's right at the end of the glory years. You know what I
Right,
mean? And then the
right.
digital age hit. And that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
the old way of things were, I
Yeah.
grew up on Dipset and Locks and Mob Deep and
Right.
all that stuff too. So like I remember I was so young listening to this stuff and I'm in this area,
Yeah.
right? I didn't know what no brick was.
Okay.
I looked that shit up on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, and me and my little sister, I'm like, I think they're talking about selling cocaine. It
Yeah, yeah,
seems
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like it didn't even process with me, but I fucked
Right,
with the music so much, and then
right,
I found out what it meant, and I was like,
right.
damn,
Yeah,
okay, I get it now.
yeah,
Word, like
yeah.
it's just that shelteredness and not knowing what you don't know.
Right,
You know, think how much you experienced there that no one is ever going to be able to make it through.
right, right.
Just makes you a better person. And I can't relate to prison, you know what I'm saying? But
I would say the proper term I would like to use. I didn't mean to cut you, but
no,
I
you
would I
did it.
would
You're
say
good.
I would say the proper word to use is battle tested. I feel in a lot of aspects of life I'm battle tested. Like there's not really too much out here that not really that surprises me, but I've seen things from so many different angles and been around so many different people because you come from you have a lot of different cultures that are in
Right.
prison and you live around and amongst these people for a long time and you get to see how things are. So I mean, in a lot of ways, those shaped me to who I am, and I'm just I'm blessed to be able to say that was who I am today, but a lot of that shaped me to where I'm going in the future.
Right, right. And again, the pain is what brings out the real good content, in my opinion. And not just content, but music, whatever art you're pouring that pain into is how you make that art
No doubt.
dope and mean something, right? It's meaningful.
Right.
So basically, so you caught a bid in '05, you said, right?
Hmm.
And that was a drug charge, I'm
Well,
assuming,
I
or
actually caught a few beds. I've well later on when we get to a beat, I'll explain a little bit more. But
word. Okay,
I
cool.
have a few den numbers, unfortunately, but I made them into a song and it tells you about a little bit of what I was going through
Yeah,
all
we'll
at them
definitely
different
have to hear
times.
that.
So, but yeah, man, I had caught some bad times, but in this last time I was locked up, I don't know, I would say that, some people things just you get that blink, you get that light that just tells you, listen, it's time to take control over your life and get back to where you need to be. So that's kind of what happened with me, man. And I just got tired of going in that same direction. So I had to just sit back, hit my lyrics, and just say, think about the people that matter to me. Think about the people who's counting on me to be everything I could be when I come home, and that matters the most.
Right.
And stop being selfish for things. And I put a lot of things in perspective, man. So
Do
I'm
you
just
think that got you through those years too, as another thing? In addition to your music, obviously.
absolutely, man. Well, obviously you can get into a lot of things anywhere, but
I
there's a
just
lot of
don't feel like a
things.
lot a lot of people are able to process what you just said that are in the system or maybe they can process it and can't correct it. But to come to that realization again is something that happened that it had to happen within the bid,
Yes,
right? And that's your
absolutely.
reality check. Brings you back to reality. Oh, I got a family. I got shit to lose, right?
Absolutely.
Not only my time, but things that actually mean even more than that to me,
Right.
sentimental to my family. So again, coming to that realization is not something that a lot of people that go through the prison system can do, unfortunately. And that's why the recidivism rate is so high. And a lot of it's bullshit laws and shit like that too. And
Hmm.
I'm glad that certain things are being less, less penalizing. Weed is legal
Yeah.
and things like that. Because why are we locking hundreds and thousands of people up over marijuana? I mean, for
Right.
God's sake.
Right.
So again, like these are major changes that needed to happen
Hap-
to stop this problem. But
yes.
I'm hoping that I feel like there's no way it can't at least cut it down, in a good way, in a positive way. Because even some of these convicted felons are finding ways to make businesses out of it with
Absolutely.
because you can get a weed card or whatever.
Right.
So again, like now the odds are starting to go. There's even more resources and more reasons to not stay in that lifestyle, man.
Right.
If you don't do the same shit over and over and expect a different result,
Absolutely.
right?
So I'm kind of and just to piggyback off what you're saying, man. Just I want to be one of these people who things changed in society, and I want to add on, my low key kilo touch, man, and just what I feel like I could bring to the game, man. So it's about hard work, man, and a lot of my raps that I wrote, man. It's just and how I feel about my brand, man. I want to give it to the world, so I just feel blessed, man.
That's really good to hear, man. You deserve to be blessed. Again, you've gone through hard times and you've figured a way to make them positive. That's huge. So let's talk about low key kilo. Like that is that your brand? Low
Um,
key kilo entertainment.
well, yeah, low key kilo, and it's funny because I kind of just it just ro- I just roll with it. I liked it. One day I just said it, and I kept saying, I'm
It's
like, yo,
something that
low
you
key.
made up,
Yeah, I actually just made it up. I was so one day I was I'm like, damn, I gotta have a label. I have to have something that people are gonna follow. So I'm like, well, what is something that's about me? So I was involved in a few things. So I'm like, low key kilo, and I was just throwing it around like low key kilo, and I liked it. I'm like, I don't know, I just like it.
right?
And then I went back, so I'm starting to write it down, look at it. I said, oh no, I like this low key kilo. This, and so when anything you create, you kind of don't want to. You're like, hold up, don't be looking. What you looking at? So you don't want people to
Right.
see what you got,
No one
So
observing you.
yeah, and I kind of like, as I built it, I started to add a sound to it, add different things that I went through in my life to it, a lot of the my experiences to it, and it just comes out naturally, man. The lyrics, man, it's just what I want to say. So that's kind of how that it's just something that I said that I kind of built into myself, into a brand. And now, I throw up the L. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but it's El Honcho. I'm from Elmira, New York. So if you see me throw
Word.
the L, I'm from Elmira, New York. This is low key kilo. Ain't nothing extra. I want to clarify that first. So before people think that it means
Don't
anything
trip.
else, it means I'm from Elmira, low key kilo entertainment, and and we taking it far and beyond. So
That's definitely needed to be said too. You gotta
yeah.
you gotta make. There's a lot of haters out
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah. I wanted to clarify that, 'cause you got
A lot of
this
ways to.
person and that person. Listen, man, my name is El Honcho. El, and my name stands for I'm from Elmira, New York. Honcho is just who I am. I'm a honcho. So that's just who that is. You know what I'm saying?
So is
So
that how you developed the name El
yeah.
Honcho? Let's
Yeah,
let
that's
let's
it. That's
elaborate on that. That's important to me because
yeah, I'm from Elmira, New York, so it has nothing to do with anything other than that. I just said L, which is a representation of where I'm from, and then honcho, because that's what I am. I'm a honcho. I feel as if I'm in a bossy mind state. I have a boss mentality, so that's kind of how that derived. But um
definitely, definitely. So what do you think gives you that boss mentality? Just to trying to get to know you, and I want to know uh,
well,
how do you apply that boss mentality to what you're doing now?
um I'm a
like you would be
person.
a boss in the streets back in the day, and I should have elaborated on that a little better. I
No,
apologize.
I would just say my mentality as far as my mindset, you know what I'm saying? I'm a boss. I have a boss mindset. I move to my own beat. I move to my own drum. I have things have to be in time in tune with how I want my sound to be. So, as far as how it flows with being a boss, I'm just like I don't know. My sound is just I have a bossy sound. You know what I'm saying? My sound is just has a boss mentality. You know what I'm saying? So
The
it just
lyrics,
comes
even,
out the
yeah,
lyrics, man. I
right.
just my mindset and who I am as far as my sound goes. You know, so it's just it's it has more to do with just the repetition, the work, and just the work ethic and the experience combined. You know what I'm saying? To be a survivor. You know what I'm saying? I'm someone who went through these experiences and survived through a lot of harsh things that a lot of people couldn't survive through. You know what I'm saying? Without turning it to being this or without being this or relinquishing anything. It takes a strong person to stand firm on you, not turn to nobody or nothing and stand on your own and be who you need to be. So if there's people like that that are steadfast people who get things done and be on their mindset, then they're gonna love my type of music and my type of sound.
Right.
So
It's empowering. It's that's why I feel like that's why I love music. It's just
yeah,
it empowers you. When you got bars that are empowering, it might be helping someone that day going through a hard time. You
right.
know, that's how you inspire people. Um, that another question related to that. Let's just piggyback off that. What exactly is El Honcho's creative process? How do you go from finding the beat or artist? And we discussed a few producers you worked with earlier. If you want to,
Um,
talk about them too. But
well,
even
yes.
writing it out and getting pen to paper, start to finish of a song process, just as far as your creative process
Well,
goes.
I can hear a beat, and normally I'll know what I want to say based on. I usually write a hook first. Or I
Hmm.
can do a hook, and the hook will tell me kind of where I want to go, or maybe a song or maybe something that somebody a lot of my lyrics come from things that's going on or something that my man may be going through or something that we all may be going through in real life, and then I could translate that within into song form. So um that's kind of how I process my lyrics and how I process songs and go through doing it like that.
Word, that's dope. That's dope. Um, how many songs would you say you've put together? When did you exit prison?
Well, I came home. I've been home through the blessings for a year and about 2 months. I came home October 21st, 2021. Um, I started my bid, obviously, well, in Chemung County Jail to Elmira. Then I did a portion of my time in Attica. Then I went on a transfer to Wyoming, and then I got the the opportunity to finish my last part from shot camp. So I think
Mhm.
that last part of me getting that last discipline coming from these harsh prisons
Right.
and then getting that
Not as
last
comfortable of not that
not
prison's comfortable, but shock is a lot
yeah,
less
shock
comfortable.
was more and I'm glad you asked me that question because I didn't want to leave that out, man. That part of my bed actually shaped my discipline that I have as far as attacking anything that I want to do with my brand and everything that's going on, man. That discipline from shot camp and waking up early and just getting on the go and wanting
Mhm.
to be a person that gets things done and setting goals to get done for the day. I think that kind of like set the tone for everything that I'm doing now. So I'm grateful for those men that I went through with that. And like I said, in hindsight, like I said, who wants to go to prison? Who wants to be in jail? But these are the places where I honed my skills and where I'm using those skills to be the man that I am as far as my brand and promoting and just doing my music. So when you have time to sit down and really focus and you can tell yourself, moving around fast out here. That's what I was doing. I'm moving around fast and getting caught up in stuff, but I had some time to really focus and think about what I want to do, man. And that's what I needed, man. So that's how everything is coming into fruition. But I
That's
don't
crazy. So I just want you to elaborate on what shot like, and I know what shot camp is, but just for anybody who hasn't been to prison or any environment like that, again, let's say what was your daily routine waking up in shock? And how many months did you do, or how many years in shock? Or was it just a short term
Well, y-
final bid?
yeah, it was well at the well, because I had a drug case, and so they make that makes you eligible more for having the opportunity to get into those type of
Because it's
prisons
nonviolent,
because it's
correct?
nonviolent.
Yeah.
So my drug case came up, and they looked at it, and the funny thing about it is, at first they denied it, and so I remember, like,
Damn.
I got the paper, and I was all hyped up, me and my friend, that the dude I was kicking it with, and we was had, hopes of getting there, and I had got
Right.
denied and he made it. And I wasn't
Oh,
hating on him enough. And I was like, yo, that was my boy.
no,
I'm
of
like, yo,
course.
son, you did that. You got kids and all that. And he's like, damn, bro, I feel kind of messed up and stuff like that. But then COVID and all these different things started to happen.
Right.
So they needed different space and this and that happened. And so they wrote me back maybe about a month and a half later. I remember because I was, it's fucked up. I gotta say this, but um, I said, well, fuck, I'm at the jail now. I said, forget it. Now I'm gonna just set my mind back on jail, get my rhymes in, then and get back on my mindset back on being in jail and not so much as hope as thinking that I'm
You
going to.
accepted it.
I accepted it.
Having that hope sometimes is so annoying.
Yes,
It's
man.
hard to live your life like that.
And then to prepare my son and to prepare my family and re-prepare him again. So I had to go through that whole process, like, yo, daddy's not coming home, or your son, mom, I ain't coming home and stuff. And then to have a letter come and say, oh, well, the considerations is saying that now you can get back into, shot camp if you want to sign up. And I'm like, oh, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, they want me. So I signed up, and they hit me back and they said, look, you'll be out of the jail in so much days. And so the guy that did get accepted and I got denied, we both actually got on the same day. We left on the same bus, and I went to Lakeview. And the difference is just discipline. It's just like, I don't know, boot camp style.
Of course.
They kind of wake you up, whistles, stuff
More
like that,
military
military brand
styled,
stuff.
yeah.
But at that point in my bid, I had, I don't know, close to like 40 some months in, 40, just over 40 months in, yeah. And I was like, I'm trying to get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I don't care what they talking about. I'm rolling, crab crawling in the rain, whatever they gonna say to do. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of had set that in my mind because I knew what I wanted to do with
Right.
the music. However, I was working on that. So this was a kind of way to get my body in shape,
Dude.
kind of get my mind in shape, and forget what they talking about. I got to do things that I need to do, and it's not really. I would Lakeview's probably not too far from it now. Just
Lakeview, New
yeah,
York, is
Lakeview.
it?
Yeah, I was in
Up by
Lakeview shop.
Chautauqua County, right?
Yeah, I was out that way, and I made it home on time and stuff like that. And in 6 months, well, it was really 8 months because I had to wait like 2 months to get
To
in the
get in,
actual
yeah.
platoon. So I actually came home from that, and it was just, I carried over that discipline. I carried over that, that let's go, don't give up, let's keep moving. I kind of kept that going, and people was out here looking at me like, yo, something wrong with him, or maybe he this, or maybe he that. And at first I'm kind of taking to it like, man, but you can't let that rent too much space. You got to keep
Right.
going. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I got
Right.
things to do.
Right.
So I kept that mindset like, listen, people gonna say things, or things is gonna happen, or this may happen. I gotta still chase my goals. I gotta still pursue what I'm doing. I'm not gonna
Yep.
let you or this or you tell me what I can or can't do when I know that I achieved this and I know the capabilities that I have. So that kind of like I wasn't I'm grateful for that discipline, that
You're a
last minute
fighter.
discipline. Yeah, man.
Think about what you said earlier. You're a fighter.
Yeah,
That's why
man.
you went to shot camp with a chip on your
Yeah,
shoulder.
man. And
That's the worst thing they could do for you. You're gonna prove them wrong. Simple
and,
as
and,
that.
and, and you know what else I want to add to it? And another thing that was kind of something that helped me because I had bids. So I was the guy that was in shock, like, oh, well, what are you gonna do when you get back out? You did this before. You're just, you're playing around with this
Right.
program. Listen, you can't make no one feel how you feel. You're not gonna know what it took for me to get to where I needed to be or what I actually went through in my life that changed my course of life. So I know what it was.
Right.
Like I said, I have a son, so missing his life and things in his life. And it's not fair to him. That's not fair to my son. So I put that in my heart. And that was part of the reason why, I moved forward the way I did coming home. And so that's been my push to doing everything I'm doing.
That's dope, man. That's inspiring to hear that. Seriously. I mean, to say shot camp like molded you to come out as a more disciplined individual because that's what it takes to stay out of jail is discipline,
Right,
right?
right.
Not just knowing there's other options and that you can pursue those, man. You can do anything you want. Just gotta
Oh,
pay taxes on it. That's all they give a fuck about. You know what
right,
I mean? Like
right.
so many business models you could start.
Absolutely.
It's just when you get that knowledge, that's a whole different level of power you just gained in your own mental mind too, knowing that you have that other option. You know,
Right,
it makes it. I can't say it makes it easier because I don't have drug cases and I don't have bids to talk about. But at the
right.
same time, it's got to make it easier to stay out or to hopefully make the right decision when you got people like you got a good team behind you from everyone and I've met a few of them so far, you know, and
Yeah.
and everyone behind you seems to be extremely supportive of you in a healthy way, you know,
Hmm.
not an enabling way. Like they support your music career, they support your brand. It looks like you're in Florida quite a bit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Shooting down there with them,
yeah. I've
like
been out there a little bit.
right. I mean, again, it takes a lot to get someone to believe in a person. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you're very blessed just to have come out disciplined enough to regain or I don't know if these are rekindled relationships either, but to have these people that actually support you because that's another accountability factor, you know.
Right,
You can't make bread and pursue your career and cop the Lambos if you're in prison. You know what I
that's
mean?
right, that's
You might
right,
be able to
man.
cop them, but you can't drive
Can't drive them.
them.
Absolutely.
So just reiterate the year you said you came home. You said
Yeah, I
2016 or
just came.
15?
No, I came home. On this previous bid, I came home 2021,
Okay,
October,
gotcha.
and
And that was a 40-month bid, you said?
nah, I did 50 months. It was total 50 months total on that particular bid, and like I said, they I got sentenced to 6, and they sent me. So my mindset was, oh, I'm gonna go to this medium. No, no, no. They sent me to Attica, and I want to just mention that real quick.
Please do. I wanna hear if you're okay talking about it, I wanna hear everywhere you went at. We're bidding
I
that.
wanna mention that real quick. Yeah, I was in Attica, and it was. I remember leaving reception, and people talking about how it's gonna be this, that, and the third. And I had never. They call it behind the wall. I had never been to that element of prison where it's like a max prison. People that got murders, everybody. So when I got in there, that kind of put me in a mindset that also kind of helped me too. Like, maybe stop joking around so much because life is real. These are men that unfortunately, a lot of them may not have the chance to come home again. And that's just a gut wrenching thing, just seeing those type of men. Excuse me.
Do you need a drink?
Um,
Do you want me to get a couple? I can grab some water for you right now
yes,
too.
please.
Absolutely. So let's get back into it. And
Yeah.
and basically, I want to hear about so when you came home, your last bid you came home in 2021, correct?
Yeah, I just came home in 2021.
And that was from
That was from a 17 case.
okay,
What I
a
caught in 2000,
2017 case.
2017 case that I caught while I was on parole in Elmira. I basically got caught up in raid or whatever. So
Okay,
I went to
gotcha.
prison, parole, whatever. So everybody's in the county. I'm stressed out. This is my fourth bid, all drugs. And so this is looking bad. I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying? I promised my son that I wasn't gonna go down this road. Things wasn't looking the way they was supposed to be looking. Whatever the case may be, I decided to do whatever. So, now I'm paying the consequence. So now I'm going through the Elmira stuff again. I'm going through the reception stuff again. So how crazy do I feel? Again, I'm back in because they got Elmira reception. That's in the center of Elmira, New York. So I'm in the hometown in the prison in my hometown. So, people can see me better, but who still wants to be in there? So I'm going through all of that. And I just remember going to see the counselor, and the counselor just like, yeah, I know, she slid my paperwork basically saying where I was going or like what my status was. Like, and I had max status. I'm like, yo, I got the max status. Oh, you called the case, parole, whatever. So long story short, that ends up going to Attica. So from all the stories, the riot, everything that people obviously know about Attica, to actually live there changed me because I feel like for me to be a man that actually went through that element of life and survived without being saying I'm this or claiming I'm this or this, that, and the third, and just staying stuck to the principles that I know, that I acquired in the streets, or that I have just in life, things I learned from. I started thinking about stuff that I learned from my father when I was like 10. When I got that,
Digging
just
it up, digging
everything,
it
like,
up. Yeah.
because I need to know how to navigate through being where I'm at right now. This is the
Survival
alt.
mode.
Yeah, this is survival mode of for realness and the realest things that I'm gonna see. So I
So they
remember,
had you in a max, just to clarify, for because it was a parole
yeah, because it was
violation.
a parole
Gotcha.
violation, I only had 6 years.
Okay.
So because it was a parole violation, to penalize me or to kind of what they say, make me feel it, well, I felt it.
Right.
They sent me
They
to
threw
a
the book
max.
at
They threw the
you.
book at me.
Yeah.
They said, you start your bid
Motherfuckers.
in Attica. And I don't know, it was just, you locked in your cell a lot all the time. You can't use the phone like that. You got people who, been there and things like that. So you gotta kind of fall in line. So I started really paying attention more to like my surroundings and learning about myself and well, what really forced me to look at myself, I started, going to the yard and I just see like the things that's going on out there. Like, this is real. Dudes getting they shit split. I'm like, oh,
Word.
they got you on the wall. They got the tear gas, about to shoot the tear gas in the yard. Like, and I'm really on the wall. Like, yo, this is a movie. I'm really in a fucking movie. Like, this is really going on. Like, if the people who know me or the people who've been around me could really see that I'm dead on the wall, police dead like this, about to shoot some tanks of gas at us in the yard because somebody got cut over there. Like, and I'm just like, yo, I shouldn't even have came out. All because I wanted to get on the phone. You know what I'm saying? And so
It's a
the
whole nother shit
it's
show
a whole
there.
different level. So I'm blessed. I truly feel blessed as a man, Nick. I like I'm so blessed to be on this show, man, and to be a person that I can say I survived through that. I can say I survived through that with nothing on my face or nothing that will keep me. You get into many things. There's many things you can get involved with. I was one of those people that shied away from that, stayed on my pen, stayed not giving up. And so as I stayed over there, I met some of the dudes that had time and they kind of could see me like, yo, we like how he's moving. So there was a couple guys in there that kind of, took me under the wing per se and just was guiding me along the path. And I met a brother out of Rochester I can speak about. His name is Black Sun. Not too sure how much time he has, but he's a great brother, man. And I met this dude and he had shared something. He had some time that he had to do. And he shared something with me more like, yo, when you get out there, man, think about me. You know what I'm saying? Think about what you see in here. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you doing out there, don't never forget this reality. You know what I'm saying? So when I be outside, I have a perception that I know how bad it could get. And I survive from that. Whereas some people never come back from things like that.
Right.
So I could tell that story. My lyrics are that story. I could tell you that story
Right.
in full detail of what it feels like to go through that. To have a man give you water in a pail coming down the line, you looking out, somebody fishing, somebody sent a soup this way, a pussy book went this way, somebody sent a switchblade. What's going on? This is
Yeah.
every night, bro.
And
And
like
it's crazy. It's like, I don't know, man. So
that amount of pain though has a certain impact on an individual, and uh, that is what I feel like if you didn't experience these type of things too, like it'd be hard to do things right like you're doing it, like it'd be easier to backslide. That's all. Like that shaped you. That made you. That's another one. Again, we're on your last bid right now, and we're gonna revert to the first one after we get done with this one. That way
yeah,
we can get to how we got to that point. But basically, dude, that type of environment, and and the next question I have about it is that always in the back of your mind? Like, do you take yourself back to that ad seg cell or whatever you're in for, you know, however long, and does that flash back when you're doing your day to day things, and maybe have thoughts in your mind and stuff like that? Is that a way that motivates you to keep doing what you're doing?
yo, I love that question. Um, I love that question. I was out a couple weeks ago, and so this is how my mind thinks now. Like, So I'll see like incidents or some shit about to pop off, whatever, and I'll be in the cut like, these niggas don't even know that shit. That's a that if I stay here, that this could turn into Attica. Like, so let me get the fuck out of here. So I see people, things and beefing and so I'm about to go get, and I'll be like, shit, all right. And so a lot of people don't know, you know, the younger guys. And listen, we all go through it, nothing against each whoever, but when you don't know what's on the other side, your tendency, you'll be whoever you think you are.
Absolutely.
And then when you get to that other side and somebody's like, hey kid, guess what? Let me get your stuff, kid. And then you're like, oh, I wasn't that guy who I thought I really was before. I was just a guy who was with people who thought he was a guy he thought he was. That I'm really not that guy. So Attica show
tricked
you
myself.
Yeah, Attica show you who you are. It'll show you who you are.
For real, yeah.
If you're a sucker, if you're a bitch, if you're whatever you are, it's gonna come out and during time. And as it comes out, the wolves will feast on that shit. That's Attica.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so I went through that for a little bit of time and I'm grateful that I made it through. And so as my classification went down, they got a spot across the street, Wyoming, and I was over there. A classification went down, I went over there. And, more of the same stuff. Just, in dorm settings. A lot of gang member stuff going on, shit like that. Typical prison stuff
Like
that I had
pod
went through.
setup, basic,
Yeah, pod setup, 60-man dorm stuff. And yeah, that's actually how, that was set up for me. But I had went through all of this and stuff, so that gave me more time to write and just stay focused. But that element of transitioning from Attica over to, that's a part of my life that I won't forget. That's just something that I know that I survived from.
Right.
Not that that's to make me who I am, but I know that I made it through that.
Right.
And let's keep going now.
Yep.
And so that's where I'm at,
Hey,
though.
not a loss. It's just that you lost time, but it was a big lesson.
Right.
Again, that dude told you never forget this.
Never forget this, and I won't, man. And shout out to him too. I hope he's doing well, man. That's a Black Son, man, out of Rochester.
Right.
Good dude, man.
Yo, honestly, thank you, Black Son, for giving him that advice. We appreciate that. That's what's up. So, again, the odds are stacked against you, man. Little things like that you take as gems, and like you just said, it's obviously giving you some wisdom in certain situations.
Right.
I mean, that's not what the normal statistics suggest. So again, you've come a long way, bro, especially for being home a little over a year.
14 months, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, man. It's just, sometimes you just get tired, and I try to let people, my story. Hopefully, my story can empower someone. Maybe things that I went through, and you can say, well, wow, look at what he went through, or maybe I know somebody going through that,
right?
And everybody probably knows someone that was locked up and stuff like that. So, and the world changed so much from just that little bit of time I was locked up. I was like, wow.
We're gonna elaborate on that.
Yeah.
So Attica was your last bid, and that was 17 to 21. You said it was a 40-month or 50-month bid you ended up doing, correct? So
I was in
that ended
County.
That ended with Shock at Attica,
Yes,
correct?
absolutely.
Okay, that's where we did Shock at.
Yep.
Now let's take it back to the beginning in 05 when you caught your first case. What transpired there? What happened? I mean, and where did you go at that point? Because the laws were a lot different back then too. There was less technology, but I still feel like drug convictions were just on the up and up and up and up and up. Prison for profit was popping back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And I kind of fell into that. I don't know, out in Elmira, drugs and shit like that. I got caught up in a case. And it's funny too, because in my first case I went to Shock, and my last case I went to Shock. So I had 4 bids. On my first and my fourth, I went to Shock. In between, they kept me in jails.
Gotcha.
So on my first bid, well, basically, just running around in the streets. I just had my son was born in 2004.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my son was born in 2004.
Late, but congratulations.
Yeah. He's 18 now.
Word, damn,
yeah,
dude.
He's 18 now. So he was
born a year before you caught your case, correct?
Yes.
Just so I'm trying to put it in perspective for myself as well.
Yeah, about a year around that time when he was a little bit after he was born, I ended up catching the case. And had let me out. Then I had to go through the whole court process. Then I ended up getting sentenced, and then I ended up going to shock. And I remember I was just telling, it's so crazy, man, because I can think about stuff now. Like the first time I saw my son walk was in Elmira prison. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of like, yeah, man.
Through glass, or was it in a
No,
visitation
he
area? So
walked
you
over to me as
right,
I was
and
on the floor. They let him walk, over to me and stuff like that. Like they brought him out the bathroom, and because I was already on the visiting floor, and I remember him walking to me. And like those are memories that I keep in my mind, man. Like I go hard for things that I just go hard for my son and just like things that matter to me, man. Like I love my child, and I feel bad that I missed that time, and I just feel like I owe him the best me.
right,
Just I feel like I owe him the best me because he missed out so much time with me. So that's why my energy and everything I do is just to try to tell my story,
right,
and put myself in a position to do the most that I can for him from what I love doing.
right. So I lost my father in 2015.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Appreciate it, but basically, was your did you was your are you comfortable talking with whether your dad was present when you were growing up?
Oh, so well, my father is actually a correction officer.
Okay,
That's how I got to Elmira, New York. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and we have roots through Brooklyn that brought us up to Elmira.
okay,
So my father was working as a CO in downstate in Sing Sing and had got a way to come through to Southport. And that's how we moved through and grew up. So I'll say like early 90s. I've been in
gotcha.
Elmira
Okay,
for like early 90s.
word.
And we were coming from downstate area. Like I said, Sing Sing, that's Ossining, New
Yeah,
York.
Ossining. Yep. My
And
friend
we
has a
moved,
pizza shop there. Had a pizza shop there.
yeah, we moved up to Elmira. I was pretty young. I still remember from the city because I'm originally from Flatbush. That's where we used to live when I was in New
No
York.
shit.
Yeah, so we kind of came up through Elmira, and just
Brooklyn,
to
baby. That's what's up,
yeah,
right?
just to make I mean, I have New York City roots, but I grew up in Elmira, but
Right, right,
and it is what it is. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I don't feel I listen. Elmira kind of shaped me as a person because that's where I spent the most of my time at.
hmm
That's where I went to school and things like that
You were
out there.
most impressionable in those
Yeah, I was
years, you
most
know.
impressionable out there. So, you know, now having, looking back at everything, man, and just to have the opportunity to kind of just to be home and to do the right thing and be the best that I can for my son, so to speak. So that's kind of what everything is based on.
So it seems like it brings you satisfaction to provide for to keep the wells full.
Absolutely.
That's probably another motivation to keep continuing the entrepreneurial route you're on
Right.
and doing what you're doing, man. Like again, it's not easy. Everything's stacked against you in this world. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a harsh reality, but it is what it is. Like, and to go through what you've gone through, and to again, I keep reiterating it, but at the same time, I feel like that makes the best artist. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be a big benefit to your not a another way this negative situation turns positive is it
Yeah.
maybe this is what chiseled the diamond El Honcho.
Absolutely.
These experiences of that hammer
Absolutely.
and chisel. One of them was unfortunately a jackhammer. At Attica, it was not a fun sculpting experience at the same time.
Absolutely.
So Attica, chiseled you in and really solidified that mold. I feel like at the end of these three bids. Now, let's get back to our '05 one and continue here. So you had your son in '04.
Yeah.
You get arrested '05.
Yeah.
How long is this bid and where's this at?
Well, I get arrested in 2005. I get caught up, me and my man. I do the 60 days. No, wait, was it the 45-day motion?
Okay.
When I caught the case, they let me out. So I was out. I had a chance to, they gave me 6 months. They said they was gonna indict me. I ended up getting indicted. I was on like a little fake little run. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting caught up. I go to Chemung County. I go to Elmira, and they said I was eligible for shock. So I had actually did shock twice.
Sorry.
And I remember going to shock, and that was like the first time I was away. And I just remember telling myself like, yo, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna get this right and get this right. And that person that who I was at that time coming home on that bid, well, you can't never say anything about God's plan. God's plan is divine, and there will be some things I would tell that kid because my mindset was still, and I ended up catching another bid after that, and it spiraled. Like shock didn't help me then as much as it helped me now. I wasn't thinking how I am
Sure.
now from that shock till now,
Right.
going through that stuff for all those years, man, and just, having that be the narrative for so long and people knowing that, yo, you going to jail and this and that and the third. And just to have that on your shoulders, man, and being known as that guy going in and out of jail, I got tired of that shit. I just said, nah, you know what? That's not who I am. I'm way too talented of a person. My light shines way too bright and for me to be consistently not there and having these memories and people enjoying their time with me. And that's it, man. And my music and my lyrics is that's it. I know that this industry is not an easy industry to come into. So you gotta have some kind of relevance and substance of what you're saying. And I know that there's many great artists in the game now. So why would I even come in the industry if I didn't feel that this is where is a lot of different competition. I just feel like my story is too real to be denied.
I like that. I like that. That's a good motivation to make your music. Self belief is where it all starts. I mean, you can't if you don't believe in yourself, you might as well get the fuck out of here, go home.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you are the one that has to wake you up every day.
Yeah.
And it's the times you can do it when you're not motivated that really shapes you into who you are. Because you
Absolutely.
can't expect to get up every day and be like, I gotta go make mad songs, like and want to do it all the time.
Right.
It's not always like that. It's like there's those times you don't want to do it, and maybe these disciplinary situations help discipline you into that routine. Of getting
Absolutely.
shit done
Right.
and knowing how important. Okay, this is my value right now. This is how I'm gonna break my bread. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? This is what I need to be focused on.
Right.
You know. So first bid is '05 to what?
I came home '06.
First time offender. I'm assuming.
Yeah, first time offender. I was on what they call shock parole. I remember my PO at that time. He was trying to just give me the rundown. He had me going to these different things that I didn't really care about, like ADRC. And I'm like, why I gotta go to these stuff? I'm not really like a junkie, and I'm not nothing against those guys, but this is not
Right.
helping me. I
Right.
need to be doing this and that, and that this is just is not helping me. So, I fell back into that mindset, yo, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And I ended up getting caught up again. And they at that time I thought they threw the book at me, but they smacked me pretty hard, and that led to different bids and just being exposed. And so all these combinations of different bids that I went through just through the years, man, just made me into like I had to come to a place where I said, look, I can't do it no more, man. And God, I really said a prayer, man, that I mean, I don't really know exactly what the prayer was, but I told myself a prayer when I was in prison, like on this particular time, God, don't make this for my life no more. Like I know I have a purpose in life, and it is not being in prison. It's not going through this. And I stuck with my pen, and I'm doing what I do, and God blesses those that He knows went through things. You know what I mean? So I had a lot of harsh nights. I mean, just I mean, I could talk about it now, but at those times it was bad. It hurt. You know what I mean? To go through all of those times and people who you think is your friends or people who you think is your mans or these bitches who you think is your girl, and then you hear about this, that, and the third happening, then you feeling like, yo, I'm going through this, that, and the third all the time in jail. And then people thinking you a jailbird and just nah, man. My son growing up not seeing me, that
Yeah.
that all weighs on who I am today. That it's just that tight mold and all of that stuff. I had to break out of that, break free from that, and that's why I'm letting the world hear my sound in a new way.
Right, man. That gives me insight on how you're shaped as an artist even further. It's just the system is the system. It's designed to keep you in the system. It's unfortunate. It's one of the I tell all my employees, don't get in the system.
Right.
Don't break two laws at once. If you got to do some shit, shit happens. I get it. You're not a bad person over that, but
Right.
just the system is designed to hold a motherfucker down.
Right.
And not even only the prison system, even out in the real world. It's like, oh, now I got to get this job or I got this company. Now I got to pay these taxes. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, this shit is just really stacked against
Right.
me. So
Right. Right.
you got to be on your A game, and
Absolutely.
and I don't know if and it's possible, but like without going through experiences like that helps you develop an A game.
Mhm.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. It helps you, it makes you develop an A game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Literally has some of us boot camp. Like
right, man.
you're at least getting in a routine and getting healthy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
Like
I would say to be honest, man, it definitely, all of that stuff just helped me to be who I am, man, overall.
word.
Word.
The things that all that stuff in your past, it doesn't define you. It just shapes you and chisels you and helps callous you to certain things, or give you wisdom in those situations. You know that you could be risky because you got
Mhm.
something to lose, not just your freedom,
Right.
but family and a successful business and a brand. It's not
Right.
just. It's much less selfish now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be less selfish now. And again, it's as time goes on, you gain so much in your life that you have things to lose. You can't be spending time in a damn jail cell, man. Like it's
Nah,
just not worth it.
nah, man.
For
So,
what? Especially these days. Like these young boys are crazy, yo.
oh man.
You catch a murder bit over $10. Like I'm just saying,
Yo,
like
the
it's
world changed,
crazy.
man, a lot, man. Just to when I came home in 2021, I just saw the world like, yo, like the way how people were and just like the addictions and certain things and just overall just like the inflation of prices and just I had missed that chunk. I didn't even have what it was at the what am I trying to say? COVID and all of that type of stuff. I missed obviously all of
Like
that
you
type of
weren't
stuff.
out. Yeah, you were in prison during the pandemic when they shut the country down. You're
Yes,
saying.
yes. So like that whole being in the
Lucky
house.
you, it wasn't
Yeah,
too
man,
much
like I
different
missed
out
that
here.
whole
I'm just
thing.
kidding, but
Yeah. And I bet that was a crazy time. I can only imagine,
right.
How the world was, at that time and how it affected how the world is even still now. Like so just making music, man, and trying to make music that counts and trying to have something that people can see from someone who actually went through shit. Like I went through this, I had that, and that's not who I am, but I had experiences by going through that, and I looked at that as an obstacle that I got past, and now it's time to be the person who I always was meant to be.
Word. Absolutely, man. That's good to hear. That inspires me too. That's again, anytime someone can do a complete or a complete 180 like that it's just impressive. And again, with the odds stacked against you, it's dope to see. It's dope to see you have a good vision.
No
That's
doubt.
that's what it takes. A man without a vision is gonna perish or be incarcerated or die. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like it
right.
is what it is. You gotta have the right vision. So what's Honcho Media Group? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Honcho Media Group is it's basically another way where you can have access to me and different things that I may have going on. Like we promote Savage Rum on there. You have my videos is being promoted on there. I have a video out which is called Prime.
Yep, we're gonna
It's
preview
you
that during the show.
Yeah, I have that on, so you can check for things like that and just different platforms that I'm having. As far as work to promote my rum and things like that nature, I have a my clothing brand will be put on that as well. That's all in the process. So it's just a different way to give you many different things that I'm doing on different platforms.
Right, that's dope. That's awesome. So it's an expansion of everything else, and that's really smart to do things like that. Again, it just gives you multiple outlets.
Mhm.
Good for branding, good for SEO purposes. Then you get, who's on your team with that? Is this what with what Ed does
Yes,
with you?
Honcho Media Group consists of EP and which is my manager, EP and
Shouts to Ed.
Jason shouts to Ed Robles and Jason Tarico. Those are actually my partners, and the CEO of Savage Rum, Jason Tarico, which are also my business partners. Um, I'm the brand ambassador for Savage Rum through promotions and things like that. So shout out to EP, shout out to Jason Tarico, shout out to Rich Kenny, shout out to Cass and my whole crew out in Tampa. Shout out to Sadiq, the producers out in Tampa. And I met a lot of I met a few dope people out in Tampa. Shout out to Big Noid. I met Big Noid when I was out in
Nice.
Tampa. And shout out to Twin Gambino from Infamous Mob. I actually did a we did a little track together. Shout out to Twin Gambino and V12 of the Infamous Mob. I had a chance to bump into those guys when I was down there and stuff like that. So, low key Kilo is actually branching off in a couple of different ways, man. And I've already like I said, I had a chance to meet Big Noid recently, and I had a chance to meet Twin Gambino and V12 of Infamous Mob, and we actually collabed on a song that hasn't been released yet, but it's pretty dope. And
Is for a
just trying to,
project you're working on, or
yeah, well, it's actually for Twins project per se, and it has still has to be completed more or less, but it's an up and coming track that's on the way. So I was excited, to meet those guys. Those
right?
are those guys are like legends, obviously.
Building a
Anything,
network, yeah, and it's about who you know out here, and making those connections and literally interacting with people.
yeah.
It's like you said, you got to you go to Tampa from Elmira. That's 1,800 miles. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So you move. You got to move. You got to be on the move all the time. You
Absolutely.
got three brands that you're pushing. Your artist, your low key Kilo, and obviously Savage Rum and Honcho Media. I mean,
Hmm.
that's being the brand ambassador. Don't sell yourself short. Like you're the face of the brand,
Right.
essentially. So yeah, like you're constantly on the move. Like you can't be in jail. You know what I mean? You got to
Absolutely.
be moving.
I
So
gotta be moving.
right, you got a lot to lose, man. And it's dope to see you build this empire. Like, trust me, it's going in the right direction. And I've met Ed or whatever you call him. I
Hmm.
never heard him call. I met him at,
Hmm.
and then we'll talk about how I came to meet you guys to begin with. But
Yeah.
you know, they definitely are some business minded people, and I feel like it's really important to have people like that in your corner because they're going to go out of their way to make sure that you're getting the right treatment, taken care of, right,
Absolutely.
right, compensation, whatever it may be. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's definitely important. They seem like some pretty intelligent guys.
Hmm.
So that's a great great thing to have in your corner, bro. Trust me,
No
it's
doubt.
a lot of things I have to do alone, and it's not a one man band a lot of the times.
Yeah.
When we met at the Black Soprano family video shoot,
Absolutely.
you saw what I was doing there, running around like a crazy dude.
Yeah.
So, with 5 cameras or 4 cameras trying to make sure I capture stuff. So,
Yeah.
by myself. But that's sometimes how I got to do it to get into these situations
No
and,
doubt.
and to meet people like you. So, I want to know about, and I know you went to Buff State, and I believe, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, with Buff.
Oh no, go ahead. Say what you're saying.
Right. So, I met you at the Black Soprano
Hmm.
family video shoot with Benny the Butcher, Rick Hyde, El Camino, and Heem
Yeah.
for St. Maurice. Shouts to BSF.
Shout out to BSF, man. Buff, Benny,
Shouts to Big
Rick
Buff
High, Heem, the whole gang, Jonesy, Shooter, the whole BSF gang, man. Shout out to all those guys, man.
for sure. And I definitely second you on that without having to say all those names. But shout outs to all of them because they definitely are holding some heavy influence in the game right now. They're working. They're always on some stuff, and to see you around people like that and come into contact with you around people like that is a positive sign in my opinion. You're around all the right people. So how did you guys come to create the relationship between you and Black Soprano family, um, and that situation that like I said, we met in, like you were au gratis on a video shoot.
Yeah.
They're passing you champagne and making sure you're taken care of. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
they're obviously showing love.
Absolutely.
How did this relationship come about?
Um, yeah, man. Shout out to BSF. I met. So I was telling you, I went to Attica, and when I left Attica, they switched me to Wyoming,
Okay.
and I was in Wyoming, and I remember summer of oh no, wait, was it summer of 18? Yeah, summer 18, I was over there. So now I get over there and it's going crazy. It's gang shit going on, all types of shit. So now they got me in the back. So, I'm going through the processing. Somehow I end up getting to the front. Long story short, I ends up getting this. They got an annex and they got a main to the jail. The annex is people who been there know it's just a lot of gang shit. Shit's crazy. You can get your shit blown all the way the fuck off back there. And that one particular part of the jail, but there's another part that's kind of same shit, but kind of not on that type of time. So I
Right.
ends up moving to the front. And I remember being in the bunk. I'm in prison and I'm listening to my beat and somebody hits my bunk. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I'm like, and I look, it's Buff. Now at the time, I don't know Buff. He's in jail with me. We're both incarcerated. And he looks at me and says, yo, what's up? I'm like, yo, what's good, B? He's like, yo, that's Ghostface? And I'm like, yeah. Because I was listening to Supreme Clientele.
Yeah.
This is a true story.
Right.
So I'm listening to Supreme Clientele. So he like, yo, that's fire. Like, and he's like, you got some more woo. So I'm like, who's this dude asking me about? I don't know. In prison, you kind of don't open the door to people
Right.
when you meet them.
Of course.
But he was see what I said? Wu-Tang, that connection, just the sound brought us together. That's how we met, listening to Wu-Tang.
That is so dope. That is dope.
So I come off, I'm like, yo, El Honch. He like, yo, Buff. He's literally sleeping right across from me.
That's mad funny.
So now we get to kicking it. Yo, I'm from Elmira. Boom, boom, boom. I'm from Buff. At the time, I don't know how much time he had in. We're around the same age, but he just had time in. He had way more time than I had in. And I remember I was like, damn, I felt like, damn, that's kind of fucking crazy. He had all that time in, and we're the same age. So, we get to talking and stuff like that. And we had a good vibe. Like, the energy was good. He slid a tape. It was another Wu-Tang. I had something else. He pulled out a couple flicks. Yo, what's up? And it was the energy off the rip. Listen. Shout out to Buff, man.
I fuck with Buff.
Shout out to Buff, man.
Big shout out to Buff.
Big shout out to Buff.
BSF Buff.
Yo, when I met the man, it was just an authentic thing. Mind you, I didn't know who he was. Right. I didn't meet you like that. I didn't meet you saying who's this and this and that. I met you as a comrade in prison. Right. We was listening to beats. Just another guy. Right. So
connected by music.
So we get to kicking it. And I mean, it just happened. It's just his vibe. They say his vibe was just awesome. And we got to kicking it. And then a little bit about his case. Not really too much. We still feeling each other. Boom, boom, boom. And, we kicked it. And then we just, what they say, you break bread.
Yeah.
So when you break bread in prison with somebody, that shit is meaningful.
Right.
Whereas compared to in the streets, people just say it. So
like you said, you don't just open the door to people.
No,
it takes time. You got
it takes time,
and you still run the risk. You know what I mean? Of trusting a motherfucker for essentially, not Buff specifically, but in that atmosphere.
Yo, if a man, okay, I'm gonna break it down in a term that people who've been through this will know.
Thank you.
When you in prison and you have eating partners, that's big. These are my eating part. This is somebody who I break bread with. Right. So me and Buff started eating seafood rice. We really became friends. This is somebody who we grew a bond in a harsh place. And things that I told him that I went through in my life and things that he went through that he told me he went through in his life.
Right.
We had held on to that. Like, yo, son, this is how we navigating through how we getting through our bed.
Right.
Things that I would tell him to help him. Things that he'd tell me to help me so I won't lose my head on somebody in here. Things that I tell him to keep him sustaining.
Accountability.
So now that's how we meet. So I don't know exactly when. I maybe say a week or so after that, I think he was making something to eat.
Because he just got out too. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, he came home, I want to say around Valentine's Day
Cool.
Recently just passed last year. And I came home in October. So he came home just a couple of months before me. And I remember he came to the Cube. and he heard me rapping. Mind you, he still ain't say nothing about nothing. He never
You gotta be
mentioned West
careful
Side Gun.
there.
Never.
You know what I mean? You're in
Yeah, he
jail. Like
never
that's not
mentioned
something to get out.
anything.
You don't want out.
And he heard me rhyme. I'm like, yo, that's actually kind of dope, son, you know. And it wasn't like this even I'm gonna do. It's just like, yo, that's dope. And then after a while, you know, I kept writing. I'm keeping my stuff. I'm in the yard with it. Yo, son, I got da 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 da. So he's getting a chance to see that, like, yo. So that's kind of how
Consistency.
that's kind of how we built our bond. And I had got moved. And this is when I really felt the energy. So I got moved from the dorm that we were in. We were in the dorm for a while together. And we was making a meal just like we normally do. And the CEO was like, yo, pack it up. Me. So everybody like, damn, where the fuck you going? I'm like, yo, I had to go over here because I had to go move to another dorm to help. The job that I had required me to live in this other dorm. So I remember Buff was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Because we was already kicking it. We can still catch up, but we just not going to be in the same dorm at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, which sucks, man. Because
This is crazy.
That's
This
a
is
support system.
This
you
is
know
my
what I mean?
guy. We
Right.
we kick it. So
Yeah.
I never forget this. We moving my stuff to another dorm. And he helped me take my stuff over there. You know, I'm carrying all these draft bags on the walkway. I got the little pulley thing. I'm pushing my stuff. And Buff is talking to me. So when I went into the dorm, he went in the house and he found everybody that was from Buffalo. He's like, yo, who from Buffalo? Who from? And they all came to him, yo, what's up? And he said, yo, this is my man right here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure he good. You know what I'm saying? This is a good. And that's when I was like, yo, son, I'm out. He's like, nah, make sure he good.
Are you serious?
And I was like, all right. And then when I left, I'm talking about the stuff just started coming to my cube. Books, this, what you need, a bowl. Somebody sent a bowl. Something came from over here. And it was just, I kind of was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I remember, you know, I remember how I felt like, yo, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then being in the yard and he like, yeah, boy, you know, then when he had told me who he was to West Side and just the whole thing, man. And you know, we always kicked it. And yo, we'll catch up when we get out there, man. And we just man, Buff was the wreck aid, man. I can talk about it now. It's just funny. He was the guy who passed you the basket. Like you come to the window, yo, what you need? A basketball? All right, you make it. And that's Buff. Buff was the wreck aid in Wyoming. Like that's my man. So I'm
nothing
blessed.
wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Nah, but when I see him, you know, you gotta imagine how it is for me to see him. Like, yo, that's my man.
Right.
This is from here to there, and it's all the same thing.
Opposite ends of the spectrum.
Two opposite ends of the spectrum. So it's a blessing, man. Like for you know, that's how you come to met me. We met each other and things like that. And yeah, Buff is just a dope dude, man. And he came home. I came home first, and I kind of reached out to his people, and then he came home and hit me. So, you know, he hit me up and stuff like that. And yo, I'm home and stuff. You know, that was just dope. And he kept, yo, I'm staying on my stuff. I'm on my stuff. You know, I'm writing, I'm doing this. He's like, yo, keep doing your thing. And one night, I'm in the bed with my shorty, and my phone rings. It's like 12:30. No, it's like 12:15 at night, right around the playoffs. It's a late game. Okay. And the phone ring is Buff. So I'm like, yo, what up, B? What's good? You know, he like, yo, hold on. Somebody wants to talk to you. This was last year playoff time.
You still didn't even know the depth of his involvement here.
He passes the phone. He was in Boston. He passes the phone to West Side Gun. I'm looking at West Side on the phone, bro. I'm in my bed. I ain't got no shirt on. Right. He like, yo, welcome home, Honcho. You gotta imagine how I feel, bro. So you know the only thing I could say was boom, 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 son, yo. You know, and so
shouts to West Side Gun too.
Yeah, man, shout out to West Side Gun. I met him through a video camera meeting through Buff, and I'm telling you, man, it just these is shit you can't make that type of shit up. And I think for Buff, it was more.
Especially just coming home from a bid, man. Like,
he knows I did all that time. He knows everything I went through. And so to be able to have that, it just, yo, that shit touched me, son. I'm going to keep it a buck, son. That shit touched my heart, son.
Did.
And he was like, yo, son, welcome home. And, you know, it's dope that you home, son. Like, basically, yo, you here, son? Hey, yo, I didn't even know what to fucking say, son. What do you say? Even my girl was in the background like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Is this a prank?
Is
Yeah,
this a prank?
right.
But it
That's
can't be a
mad
prank
funny.
because
No,
here he
it's
is.
right. I'm just saying, like, that is some shit right there. I never knew that story.
Yo, man, that really happened, man.
That is just like that just goes to tell you what type of dude Buff is, though. Like, he's a solid motherfucker.
Yo, man. So now, mind you, I'm spinning. So right after that, he says, Westside, yo, Honch, hold your head. We out here, you know, whatever. I'm like, wow. I'm thinking that's it. Yo, he passed the phone to Conway, boy.
Oh my God. Shouts to Conway, too.
Shout to Conway,
Conway
right?
the machine.
So I'm like, yo. And for me, it just was like, yo, peace, Honch. And how I feel is just like, at that particular time, that's when everything was going on in Buffalo with the shooter and all that type of stuff. At that particular time.
Yeah.
And I remember just telling him when he answered the phone, I said, yo, I just want to give love to Buffalo in general, son. I know y'all going through something. I don't want to be lost in this moment of meeting y'all or lost in this moment of just saying what I need to say to y'all, because as a whole in Buffalo, something is going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's right on Jefferson. That's blocks from their neighborhood.
And that's what I chose. That's what I wanted to say to Conway first. And he was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him at that time. And I had a chance through Buff to meet them. And then Buff came back to the phone. So that's kind of how, that whole relationship was just leading up to. So from there, I'll say a couple weeks later, now we're in Manhattan. Buff calls me again.
Okay.
He's in Manhattan. I want to say maybe downtown somewhere. And he's like, somebody wants to talk to you. He passes the phone. This time it's Benny.
Shouts to Benny the Butcher.
Shout to Benny the Butcher. So now, and I want to say this too. I had a chance to meet that man. He's a very humble guy, man, and a very good guy, man. I personally met him, and from as compared to what you may think, or just meeting him in person, very humble person, very good person, and I was just afforded the greatest opportunity to be around him. So shout out to him again. But he kind of was like, yo, I've been hearing your Hans spit some bars.
Yep.
So again, I'm on the phone like, yo, I got this. I spit some bars and stuff, and I want to say they went on one of the shows, Sway and Tech. I think it was on their way into that show. So
that was recent, a couple months ago.
All of that was culminating into then they did Plugs Meet Plugs.
Okay, yep.
My boy Devin back there, we went to Plugs Meet Plugs this summer. And that I got invited to that through Buff. All of this was leading up into that. And that was when I got a chance to meet Tony De Niro. Shout out to Tony De Niro.
Yeah,
and I got
Tony De Niro.
I got a chance to meet Benny. That's when I met him in person that day.
Right.
I met him at the Plugs Meet Plugs and tore that shit down, son. That his whole performance, that shit was dope, son. Right. Everything.
Nah, Benny's probably one of the most down to earth artists, especially with the amount of success he's had. You know what I mean? He's a good dude. I like him. I got nothing but respect for him.
Absolutely.
I mean, I met a few, rappers and artists and famous people, and I'll tell you, like, he takes the cake as far as being humble, being a real dude. Like, I don't know. He's solid. He's a solid cat, for real. Absolutely. That whole team, though, is too. Like,
all of those guys.
Ricky Hyde, like, Heem, Camino, all those dudes are solid. Like, they're just some real motherfuckers, And again, I feel like you're that way too. Like, it's just ain't no faking going on. Like, this is what it is, man. This is what we do. Right. We're here to take over, kind of shit. You know what I mean? Right. So, and gotta have respect for that movement.
Yeah, man. I just think that coming from Western New York and just what they're doing in the game is just dope. It's just and hip hop in general, but coming from Western New York. Me living in Western New York is dope. I love it.
I can relate to
it just gives a different energy to this area and a different pride. You know what I'm saying? And
a lot of pride,
a lot of pride, man. Not in a bad way, not in an arrogant way.
No, we got pride in that.
Just
shit.
a lot of pride and a good feel and a good vibe about being from where you from and being proud to be where you from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think those boys bring that to the table a lot harder than a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Just being proud of where you from. So, so I had that opportunity. I went to the Plugs Meet Plugs, and then that's how it all turned culminated to when we met,
Right.
recently at that video shoot. What was that, the Saint more
St. Maurice. Yep.
and that was just exclusive. So just being able
Dope
to
experience, man. You
come
know,
on,
it's
man. I just
remember, man, like a little over a year ago,
y-
you're in
yeah,
shock or
man.
whatever.
Who would ever
Right.
believe, if the guys can see me now, some of the guys that I was in prison with that unfortunately are there, if they could see all the different things, some of them would say, "Oh, nah, son used to be on his shit though, every day."
Right.
So some of them would say, "Oh, whatever," but
I knew it was gonna
I
happen.
knew they wouldn't be
Right.
surprised because this is all I did when I was up top, man. Just fuck with the music and shit like that.
But I mean, it should be a testament even to those coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like it just that's you're jumping leaps and bounds in a short period of time, and it's just again, it's being a real dude because Buff ain't Buff is one of the realest motherfuckers I know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like he ain't gonna bring no fucking bullshit around.
come
Like
on,
fuck
man. You
that.
know that.
Nah.
Word.
So that's again like one more major positive life changing thing
Yeah,
that
man.
you couldn't probably have made that connection without going through what you went through, So
Absolutely.
it don't define you, but that shit chiseled the fuck out of you.
Yeah,
You feel
man.
me? And really
Absolutely.
afforded and provided some good opportunity
Yeah,
that you
man.
wouldn't be able to do.
Absolutely. Again, they always say you never know what God is gonna do in your life. God can take a bad situation and turn it into something spectacular. So
Absolutely.
you never know what's in God's plan for
Right.
your life.
And
Nobody
you can't
does.
change it.
And that's I'm kind of like a living testament of that, man. All the way true and true, man.
And getting rewarded for going through hard times.
Right.
Like
Right.
think about that. That Attica Bay was the hardest of them all.
Oh man.
Going through that, coming out, getting rewarded with even just having a relationship with like Buff,
Right.
like that's a
Right.
great person to have a
And
connection with
he
and a
he
relationship
did
with.
he did a lot more time. He did some more time than me. So he did
I don't
a
know how many
stretch.
years he did.
And so for him to
I know he
be
was gone for a minute.
yeah, for him to be doing this thing, man, it just for me, when I tell him, I say, yo, son, I looked at you and it's a blessing, bro, because it just shows me like this is what could be happening. And so I fight and I push even harder. So
Definitely motivation for sure
absolutely.
at bare minimum, right?
Right.
So I just want to make sure we just cover the main things here, and let's just get back to the Savage Rum because again, that's not a small thing. Like you got two bottles of rum in front of you that you're the face of the brand and you represent them and again, shouts to Ed,
Shout to Ed Robles,
shout
shout
to
to Rich
Savage
Kenny,
Rum.
shout to Jason Tarico, shout to Cash, shout to my whole team out in Tampa doing big things, man. Savage Rum, man. Well, I go to Tampa. EP's my brother-in-law.
Yep.
We're,
Okay.
we're brothers. And I go out there and we're kicking it and stuff like that. And he tells me, the next day, as I was working on so when I went to Tampa, I left this out. When I went to Tampa, I did 3 videos. I did Prime, I did or actually 2.5, because I still gotta put another end on it. But I did Prime, I did Moonwalker, and I did the first part of Raindrops, and I did 9 songs. I recorded 9 songs in the studio
Nice.
out there. And around that
Productive
time,
trip,
yes, I mean,
you know?
in a week trip, I made sure I got a lot done. But prior to that trip, I had met Jason Tarico, and basically, he's the CEO of Savage Rum, and we kind of met, obviously through Ed, and his whole thing was, he's coming with this rum, and he, pretty much putting it on the scene, and he showed me a little bit what he was already doing in Tampa with it. And then, words was exchanged. Oh, hey, he does some music. Okay. So I did a promotional song. Actually, you can check that. That's on YouTube. I did a promotional song for Savage Rum, and he kind of asked me if I wanted to get behind it. How I felt like maybe joining forces with him, and then the rest is history. I'm joining forces with him, and we just trying to use this as a different platform or other platforms of what I'm doing. I'm not just doing music. I'm branding and doing different things on other levels. So I don't
Right.
want to just be. I don't want to come into the game as being a one trick pony. I got a different other things that I, that
Definitely.
different venues and
You have to be
different.
multifaceted, man.
Yeah,
Like music's just a tool in your box. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like that's what's helping you promote Savage Rum. You're gonna
right,
that's a streaming, a way to stream that brand through your music. You
right.
know, and bring exposure and attention to it.
Yeah,
So you have to be multifaceted, and you have to, and in order to do that, you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Like they actually teach that in college now. Isn't that funny? Like you
hmm,
take entrepreneurialism or something like
yeah.
that, or high school even offers it. I was shocked they didn't do that when we were
No, they didn't
young.
have entrepreneur
Fuck out of
classes.
here, man. We were learning history that wasn't even real.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
switched. They done switched it all up. Like
yeah.
math, everything's different.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of
crazy.
the school stuff is different. That is funny you say that. A lot of that stuff is
It's
different.
crazy.
2023 El Honcho. Well, uh, I think my video on Moonwalker is the next thing to come. That should be coming definitely by next month. So I
Okay.
got a movie. I said a movie. I got a video on Moonwalker that's on the way. El Honcho Prime is already out. So
Definitely go check
you
out
already checked out. Prime is already out.
that's your newest video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prime. Nah, that's hot. That's a hot video. I
Thank
definitely
you, guys.
I took the time to check that one out. You got some dope shots down there. So Tampa looks like where it's at,
Yeah,
or Florida at least.
Tampa is a premier spot on some vacation if you just trying to get cake back. So I had a chance to go out there, shoot the Prime video, shoot a couple videos. It was real nice.
Word.
Also for 2023, I'm gonna introduce a couple of my new artists. I got a couple of artists down with Low Key Kilo that's gonna come out into the in this year. I got my boy Dame who's here. He's gonna be coming out this year.
Word. So you got some artists
I
that are
got some
involved in
artists that's about to get down with the wave. I got my man G Mikey. He's out in Albany, New York. So, I'm about to get ready to show the world, the different elements. It ain't just El Honcho. There's a couple other couple dudes in the cut that's on the way. So I got
and
my
these are
man
all
G
from
Mikey.
Elmira. All
No,
these
no,
artists.
my man G Mikey is actually from Albany. I met
Shouts
him
to
through the
Albany.
trenches. Shout outs to Albany. Old Block, I believe. So, shout out to them guys over there. I got my man Marty Grams by way of Utica in Queens. So shout out to him. Marty Grams is kind of pretty heavy in the URL leagues.
Okay.
So he's a battle rapper.
Word. Yeah.
Coming out of Queens, and I got
Shouts to
some links with
Queens.
him. And also I got my man Jad. He from Elmira. He's actually pretty dope. So he'll be coming out, my boy JP. So I got some stuff that's really about to start hitting them, man. I'm about to start showing the world, the different elements that is Low Key Kilo and me being the top gun and just really paving the way for the whole brand. You know what I'm saying? We paving the way. I'm a make a path and bring my people through. So shout out to all those people, man, and G Mikey and my whole team. We on the way, man.
I mean, you got a lot of responsibility there, bro. But I couldn't see a better person in the position.
No doubt.
You got to make sure you use these experiences you've gone through and what shaped you today, and help lead others, to a better life. Any way you
Absolutely.
can improve someone's life, it's worth it.
Absolutely. Two of the guys, G Mikey and my boy Marty Grams, they both was in shock with me.
Okay, gotcha.
So we kind of
Another
carried it away.
relationship that
They
got
out
built.
there doing their thing, and we
Word.
all kept in touch, So it's a lot of ties that I keep with dudes that I had that have a same or similar story. So we all on the same path, and we doing our thing like that. So Low Key Kilo is gonna come out in a fresh way this year, and I just feel that at this particular time in hip hop, I feel like we got something to give the world. So stay tuned.
Word. I'm looking forward to seeing that, man. I follow you pretty closely, and again, it's gonna be a big year for you. I feel like, and
No
you got
doubt.
many more to come. You just got to keep this consistency and keep this positivity you got, because, like I said, a lot of people in your corner. You got a good support system. You know some good people. Like all that's left is battling with yourself. You know what I
That's
mean?
it.
Make
That's
that
it.
music,
Let's get it.
get it going, get them videos done, because that's how you're gonna promote the brands.
Yeah. So
keep it rolling. Like keep this energy. This is what's important.
yeah.
So we started with a freestyle, and I think we should maybe cap with one, and we could go over that second beat we discussed if you're interested in that.
Yeah,
If
we
not,
could do that, man. I mean, if Low Key Kilo, man, El Honcho, man,
word. Let's
you
cue
can
a
let
beat
that
up
go,
then.
man.
Let's get that. Let's get it.
Let that go, man.
So once again, we got El Honcho coming all the way from Elmira. You know, shouts to El Honcho, shouts to Ed, shouts to the whole
Low-key
Savage,
Kilo, man. Savage Rum. Y'all know the
Kilo.
vibe, man. Let's get it.
Word. And we already did Horde, like, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna do Burn now.
Let's get it.
Yeah, so we already did Horde. Now we're gonna get into Burn here from Mobb Deep, man. Let's just blaze this real quick. I already know you're gonna. So once again, shouts to El Honcho from Elmira.
You know the vibe. Let's go. Low-key Kilo, man. El Honch. Elmira, New York, 607 shit. Y'all know the motherfucking vibe, man. We here, we in the building, man. Let's go. Low-key Kilo, nigga. El Honch, man. We talk to these niggas, man. Listen. Yo, 17B, 3056, back on my shit. Fiends OD off the rhymes I'm packaging. Hundreds of grams a day, yay, I'm averaging. Hoes I don't call back, say I'm arrogant. 13B, 1925, bunch of goony niggas out the mess hall line. Vision seen only through eyes that did crimes, and everybody after they own slice of the pie. 07B, 1850 physic, punch one of you bitch niggas all in your shizit. Fuck what you heard, the boy Hans terrific. Actually talking the shit that I'm living. 05B 3247 TOP goon, my nigga from the beginning. I had a spot that did numbers back on Division. You lames thought you could like the little engine. Don't get me started. I rip these artists. Half of you whack niggas is garbage. Back out the arms, you'll get blown out your garments. My numbers rose, so they lowered the margin. Tied up, you'll be alone in the forest. The wood chips and the rocks will be your coffin. Temperature drop, you gon' freeze when it's beef. I roll up just like sleeves. I got mines by stashing work on the leaves. Drink so much it'll give me the dry heaves. I gotta go light on the Savage Rum. When it's beef, I go grab the gun, then go add a drum. I leave your body in the ashes, son, for thinking you could play around with Maryland's son. Low key all day, invading the mainframe. I'm like, fuck what everybody is doing, I'm getting paid. Bang, bang, when I'm aiming the gauge, I'm fresh out the cage. Low key low, nigga. Let's go, nigga. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, man, we doing
Once
it,
again,
man.
Chopping it up with Low Key.
Let's get it.
Low Key Kilo Entertainment, and of course, the face and ambassador of Savage Rum, El Honcho.
Low Key
from
Kilo
Elmira,
Entertainment. Yo, thank you for having me, beloved.
Word.
Yeah, we over here burning them up.